Alright, what is happening? Welcome to Duty's Daggers. My name is Kevin. Before we start, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and push that button and follow me on Instagram at duties_daggers. It'll be worth it, I promise. So today we are looking at some prototypes from a new knife company on the scene, Divo Knives. So yeah, really exciting. They've had one knife come out already, the Stout, which is not here. These two are not in production yet. One of them, the Buzz, actually was just had its pre-order, and I believe they filled that order, and the order is in. So if you missed out on that, then hopefully you'll be able to pick one up on the secondary or something like that. And then the second one, I believe, has not been launched yet. I don't think they started a pre-order or anything on that one yet. So you still have an opportunity to get this one in the future. Excuse me. So let's start with this one. I think this is it. Let me double check which one this is. Nope. Let's start with this one. Oh, but first, can we just admire these amazing pouches? I mean, this looks like real leather. These are very, very nice pouches. I mean, just details like that really make you like the knife that's inside even more. At least I do. So let's take a look at this one. This is the Buzz. Now, this is the one that really caught my eye when I was looking at pictures of it, and I think it's a really cool design. We have all titanium construction here. It's not a frame lock. It's actually a titanium nested liner lock. So you can see here it's a liner lock, and it's nested, meaning that when you push it aside, it actually falls into a slot that's milled out here in the scale. So that's really cool. It's a front flipper, and we have a hole for the reverse flick as well. Pretty damn good action on this thing. This is kind of a unique front flipper kind of setup here. It took me a second to get used to it because it's a little different than any other front flipper I've experienced. But once I got used to it, I really liked it. There's kind of a wide range of places you can put your thumb here, and for me, it works best kind of towards the top. But you could even kind of get further towards the front here and do it very easily as well. The jimping that's on the top of this thing is perfect. It's grippy, but it's not sharp. So really nice job on that jimping. We have the Divo Knives logo on the pivot there. I like that. It's not too obtrusive. Yeah, it looks good. We've got a back spacer. I think that's titanium. It's definitely a metal of some sort. I believe it's titanium. We have a reversible wire clip. And yeah, let's see if I can thumb flick it. Let's see. Yeah, you could definitely thumb flick it. We have a sheep's foot, Warncliffe. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'd call that a sheep's foot. Very, very comfortable in the hand. The scales are nice and thick. These scales are thick, so it fills out your hand really nicely. You can hold it back here or choke up right up here very, very comfortably. This is how I would hold it all the time. So really, really nice choke up area. Hollow grind on the blade, and this thing gets very, very thin. Very, very thin down at the edge. Very thin at the point. This thing is going to slice super duper well. There's already a very good edge on it, actually. Yeah, this thing is sweet. There's actually some sort of milling lines on the titanium too. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. If you look closely, you can see it. I think it's a really cool, clean design. We have a little bit of milling out up here, a little bit right there, and a little bit on the on this edge here. The scales are slightly rounded. If you look down on them this way, you can see they are slightly rounded. This thing is comfortable, man. Very comfortable. Pretty good action. I believe that will improve. So this is the prototype, and there are going to be quite a bit of changes done to this knife. And Kev over at Lefty EDC. He's one of the designers of this knife and of all Divo knives. And he gave me a list of the changes that are going to be changed on this knife. So I'm going to go through them right now with you guys. First of all, we have the clip spacing. Apparently this spacing is too wide. They want it to be able to fit Lynch clips, which is great. If you don't like the wire clips, you can just get a titanium Lynch clip for it. Better lockbar access, which is great because right now there is barely any. You can kind of see the lockbar a little bit, but he says that's going to be improved, which is great. He said a deeper hollow grind, which is, I mean, yeah, it's not the deepest, but man, it already is pretty deep, so it's going to be like crazy deep. He said they're going to fix the plunge grind. So probably what he means by that is probably have it further back here, so you have a little bit more space between the edge termination and the where the plunge line starts. That's probably what he means by that. It's going to have all T8 hardware, which I think, yeah, there's T8s here in the body, but the clip screw is a T6. So I think that'll probably be changed to a T8. What else? There's going to be a lanyard hole in the backspacer here, which is great. So you're not going to have a hole in the scale. It's going to be back here on the backspacer somewhere. He said the detent is going to get dialed in, which is, I mean, it's already pretty decent. So I guess it's going to be even better. The body screws are going to be flush, which is great. They're sticking up slightly right now, so they're going to be flush. And then he's adding a little bit more weight relief on the inside. And finally, there's going to be some Vox-style jimping, which means there's going to be jimping somewhere up here on the knife. So when your thumb is out here, you have a little bit of jimping there for you, which is super cool because this is how I want to hold the knife. This is how I want to hold it, with my thumb right on the spine there. So very, very good changes. I mean, if I was making this knife, I would do all the exact same things. And, you know, the cool thing about Divo Knives is that, you know, they're made by knife nerds, by people that collect and are really into knives. So, you know, there are going to be things that are present on this knife that, you know, maybe a large knife manufacturer would miss because, you know, they don't, maybe they don't know, you know, they're not a knife nerd. They're not going to know these little things. So that's great. This is really cool. I'm really sad that I missed out on the pre-order on this one. I just couldn't afford it at the time, so I'm going to have to wait for hopefully something to pop up on the secondary market, or perhaps they'll do another run of them at some point. I hope so. You can also reach around and do this kind of reach around from the top flipper, which is great. I love to be able to do that on my knives. This thing is really sweet. The Divo Knives Buzz. All right, let's check out the next one here. This next one is called the Growler. And this one I really like too. So this one's going to have some changes on it as well. But first, let's kind of take a look at it. We have micarta scales with nested, looks like, yeah, nested steel liners or inset steel liners, meaning, you know, you don't see them from the edge here. They're actually sunk into the micarta, which is very, very nice. Also a nested liner lock again on this one. We have a deep carry pocket clip that will be reversible. It's not now, but it will be on the final version. Only one means of deployment. It's a reverse flicker only. And look at that freaking blade, man. Ooh, baby. And look at the grind on it. Look how pretty that is. That is pretty, pretty, pretty. So kind of similar, a little bit of a similar style is just as far as like this area in here with the finger choil area. I really, really like that. Yeah, since these knives don't have flipper tabs, you know, there's nothing kind of in the way here. So it's just it's a really clean look. It's a really ergonomic way to have the knife, you know. Just nothing in this area to bother you. Just straight ergonomics. Um, I guess I'd call this a sheep's foot blade as well, but this one has much more belly. Well, I don't know. This one might be a Warncliffe. This one might be a sheep's foot. I don't know. But a little bit more belly on this one. But let me tell you guys, the edge down here is insanely thin. You can kind of tell looking under here, right at the where the edge starts. You can kind of tell how thin it is. But holy crap, dude, this thing is amazingly thin. Is it a hollow ground too, or a flat? I think it's flat. I think it's a flat grind. But man, it is unbelievably thin. Very, very comfortable as well. Yeah, it almost kind of reminds me of the Towser K a little bit. I think mostly just because the blade is kind of set down a little bit from the handle. This kind of reminds me of, you know, it makes me think of something that would be good for like food prep maybe, or, I mean, really anything, but man. A little bit reminiscent of the Spidey Chef as well. This is a really cool one, and check this out. Yeah. There's a little bit of blade play, so that might have something to do with it. Let me tighten it up a little bit and see what we got. Yeah, it was a little loose. Oh yeah, okay. So we have no blade play, and it's still extremely smooth. That's awesome, dude. That is freaking awesome. I believe these are both on bearings. They gotta be. Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's go over some changes that are going to be made to the Growler. It's going to have a reversible pocket clip, and it's going to have a filler tab that's going to go into that slot, you know, on whichever side you don't have the clip on, which is great. It's going to have better lockbar access, which this one has better access than the Buzz does, but it's going to be even better. It's going to have a better plunge grind, which I don't see anything wrong with this one, but yeah, I can't imagine it could be much better, but apparently it will be. It's going to have a D-shaped pivot, very cool. So it's going to have a captive pivot, won't be spinning on this side while you're messing with tightening or loosening on that side. And that's about it. He said a little bit more contouring on the scales, and aside from that, this is pretty much the finished product. I really like this thing. I'm absolutely going to get it. He said the price was going to be, I think he said around $85, which I think is totally reasonable. I'm not sure what blade steel they're going to use. I'm sure it'll be probably 14C28N or 154CM or something good. I'm absolutely going to get this thing for sure. Yeah, this is just really cool. So comfortable. I love the blade shape. Just unbelievably thin and slicey. Very, very cool. And yeah, that's about it. So be excited for Divo Knives and what they have in store for you guys in the future. I know he has a few other prototypes right now as well that are in the works. And check out the Stout, which has already been released and people have it in their hands. That's a very cool design as well. Yeah, I really hope I'm able to get one of these Buzzes eventually. This is just a very sweet knife. Very, very sweet. All right. That'll about do it. Thanks for hanging out and checking out these awesome prototypes with me. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, see you in the next video. Adios.